Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Zevachim Daf Kuf Yud Zayin. We're starting Daf Kuf Yud Zayin and with base in the 2 dots, which is about
6 lines.
No, more. I'm talking about 10 lines, 12 lines of the bottom. 10 lines. So the Mishnah said that Kodesh Kalim Nechalim B'chol Machne Yisrael. Kodesh Kalim in general, you eat all Machne Yisrael. What is Machne Yisrael? In Eretz Yisrael, it's Yerushalayim. So the Gemara goes on to explain a little bit. B'chol Mikoyimos Yisrael. Every place in B'chol Mikoyimos Yisrael. So the mashma, even if you left Machne Yisrael, you can still eat it. We're start Kuf Tet Zayin and one base. Aval Machne lo have it. Meaning you don't have to have a Machne. So the Lashon of the gears is a little hard to understand. Really, the Shita Mekubet takes away the word Machne Lav. But the point is, it's just I say out even if they learn the Machne. So the more I see Machne is no Machne in the Midbar. Same Machne you have in the Midbar, you have Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim, Arbayis, Machne Yisrael. Whole Yerushalayim until the Temple Mount. That's Machne Yisrael. Arbayis is the Shar Nikanor, which is the entrance to the Azoro, Machne Levio. Mikar Ve'ilach, Machne Shechino. So you have 3 Machnes. Vehem Kuloin Shavir. And that is the Machne Shechino is equivalent to the Kloim, which is the curtains in the Midbar. So you see, you can't eat everywhere. You have a specific place of Machne Yisrael. You can eat anywhere in Machne Yisrael, not Mekoyim Yisrael. The idea is Machne Yisrael, every place of Machne Yisrael. Says the Gemara Pshita. How the Tema Yisrael be Yitzchak Plan. So Kash explains when they are traveling. When Yisrael was traveling in the Midbar, so there was they dismantled the Machne Yisrael. So the Machne, so maybe we'll do a couple puzzle. Chiddush is not that doesn't become puzzle while they're waiting, while they're traveling. Pei Machanami, why is that become puzzle? Wherever it goes to El Moed, immediately there's a Machne. So Gemara Tanya of Shumi Yochaimer Oidacheres Oiso V'Cheil Ezes Noshim.
Have to wait.
What?
Can they eat it all the time, or just have to wait?
I don't remember. I think I'm not sure if they get it on the way. I'm not sure. I don't remember that. Good order. So Gemara says, question to what extent? Okay. Rashi says clearly not. It says Bekom Chaniyoso Moich Namachne. So okay, I just don't know if it's nafka. Says the Gemara Tanya Shumi Yechoyme or the Cheres Soyso V'Cheles. There's no Shemi. There's another one called Chayil Ezras Noshim. Right? Or it's Chayil Ezras Noshim. Both Chayil Ezras Noshim. Meaning there's a 4th area. You have, we said Yerushalayim. There's Arbayis. There is the actual Beis Hamikdash. In the Beis Hamikdash there's another place. Because there's Noshim in the Chayil. There's Noshim is the outside, is the bigger Noshim which is in front of Beis Hamikdash. The Chayil is a small fence around it. And that is another stage. And Igmor doesn't explain what it is. As Rashi points out, to send us to...
What is that considered? Machne Levi?
It's a Machne Revis. Doesn't say what it is. And Maseches Kelim tells you what's the difference. There's some difference. Okay. In Shiloh was only 2 machas. So the which one was missing? Makes sense. You have to say that there was a Machne Levi. Why? If you want to tell me there's no Machne Levi, with Aleph. If there's no Machne Levi, so we have 3 different levels of Tum. Tmei Meis has to be removed from Machne Shechina. In other words, from Beis Hamikdash, or in the Midbar from the Mishkan, you can go to Machne Levi, or in Eretz Yisrael, you can go to Yerushalayim. You can go to Arbayis, sorry. Zovim have to leave Machne Levi and go to Machne Yisrael, or in Yerushalayim they have to go from Har Bais to Yerushalayim. The Mitzrayim have to leave the whole thing. If you tell me there's no Machne Levio, so the Tmei Meis has to leave Machne Shechina, and the Zavi have to leave Machne Shechina, and where are they going to go to? They're both going to go to Machne Yisrael. So the Zavim and Tmei Meis will be in the same place. And so Zavim and Tmei Meis, Mishtang Chutz Machne Achas, they're going to the same place. Es Machaneim. 10 Machne Lezeo, Machne Lezeo, each one has to have his own Machne. So it can't be the Machne Levio is not there.
But Lachari, even if you have 3 Machnes, can't the Talmud Meis go to Machne Yisrael? It doesn't have to be Machne.
Yeah, but it means that
that's his designated.
Yeah, designated place. He could be until there. So which Machne wasn't there? Machne Yisrael? So then the Zav goes down in Machne Levio, and the Mitzrayim goes down in Machne Yisrael. But if there's no Machne Yisrael, they're both going to be in the same place. So the question why they're going down being the previous pasuk. So the time was Machaneim. Then Machne for each one. That pasuk says okay. Really all 3 Machnos were there. Meaning there was only 2 Machnos. By Shiloi, we didn't have a Machne Levio for which will be called for the Ir Miklat. There's no place around Shiloi where a Ritzach can run to. Mashu the Midbar, there was a Machne Levio for Klito. So it says that Kishmo told Moshe, you'll already be able to designate the Ir Miklat in your life. For Israel in the Mevarayani. Okay, where the Charlotte argues, so is he talking about also the one in the Midbar or not? Let's see in a moment. In the Midbar, the Yanus, because it says Mekoimcha in your place. You go to the Machne Levio. You go to the Machne Levio in the Midbar. Kana ben Levi Sharag in Eretz Yisrael. Ben Levi, who killed, what is he going to go? He goes from one area, from one place to another place, from one city of Ir Miklat to another city. If you go to the Pilcho, if it's in the same place, Pilcho Koltoi. It could be, Levi can stay in his town. Rashi says it goes from Shchunu to Shchunu. You can stay in the same city if he's a Levi. So and the same thing worked in the Midbar. That's what the Rishonim say. You see the Midbar that there was where the Levi went to Machne Levio, but that's where they were anyway. See, it's fine. So if you want Bola Gilgal, let's say. So go to Torah Banon called Nidor Vinidov Hayakorev Vibom. Anything now? Here we have a few shittas that we're going to see now in the Gemara. Multiple shittas. Let's try to make sure we know the difference between the shittas. Torah called Nidor v'Nidov Ayakor b'Bomo Shein Nidor v'Nidov Ein Korev b'Bom. So when you bring in a bama, there's only donations. You cannot bring to a bama obligations. So chayv you don't bring to the bama. Right now we're talking about which bama? Bama Ketana. I mean the one in your backyard. In the backyard, you could give an oil, you can give a shalom, you can give a chatos. Mincha ben Nazirus, but Mincha ben Nazirus is different, and they're creating a bomb. There's a special thing they carve, we'll see on the base. Divri Rabbi Meir, what? Even though Nazir l'chur is a chiyuv. They disagree on this point, and they argue only one specific word. Nazir and Mincha we don't put in the boma, but I agree with you that in boma ketana, which means the boma in your backyard, you could do only medovs. Now, Rabbi is not talking about boma ketana. He's talking about boma gedoylo. Talking about the boma tzibur. It says whatever in the midbar goes in the oil moed, meaning inside the Mishkan. So also in the Gilgal, in the place where the Mizbeach is, the main Mizbeach. You can do the same thing. You can do chayvus. Now, so what will be the difference between, as Rashi points out, between Rabbi Yehuda and the previous two Mandomer? They didn't speak about Bama Gdoil. So from here you see, as Rashi points out, the Gemara is going to point that out in a moment, that the first two Mandomerim, which is Rabbanon and Rameir, they say that no chayvus are karev during the Gilgal by nobody, by no individual, in no place. No chiyuvim, no chatas, no asher. Meaning, an individual during the 14 years of the Gilgal, and then we'll get later to Rebbe Givon, he does not bring chayvus. He doesn't bring, not in a Baba Ktana, not in a Baba Gdoil. Tzibur does bring in the chayvus in Baba Gdoila, but a Yochid doesn't, even though in the Baba Gdoila. Comes up Yehuda and says, Kol Shatzibur ve'ayochid makrim be'boil moidsho midbar, makrim be'boil moidsho be'gilgal. He said, no. In the Gilgal, in the place of the Mizbeach, no, that was everything that you do in the oil moed, you do over there as well. Ma'abin oil moidsho midbar, oil moidsho be'gilgal. So what will be the difference? Oil moidsho midbar, law you bomos b'taris. I can't do my private bomo in the midbar. Moidsho be'gilgal, you bomos b'taris. You could do your own bomo. Your own private bomo. There he does only oil shlamim like chachar. Now we're getting to another chacham. Kol shatzibu makrimi boil moidsho midbar, makrimi boil moidsho be'gilgal. The chor they're repeating of Yudo, the gabi tzibur. V'kan lo korvu Yochid Elohev Shalom Levad. So here, he's the Chur saying like the first Chachamim and Rameir. The Gemara is going to ask, that's exactly what Chachamim just said, according to what we learned. Meaning, the first two Madami argue a small detail, Nazir and Mincha is included or not. But they say Yochid is not Makriv, only donations. Comes up Yudin and says, no, he's Makriv on the Bama Gdoilo, Chayvus, or Ketana donations. Comes Chachamim, the second Chachamim, and say again, you're makriv only donations for Ayochid. So that's the same thing in the first chacham. Okay. Says the Gemara, Shimon Noimer. Shimon says, Af tzibur lo yikrivu elo. Even the tzibur are now makriv their own korbanos. Elo psochim. Only psochim. That's korban Pesach, which we see that it has the din of a korban tzibur. As Rashi points out, Babi Kenufyo has the name of tzibur, and of Kuzan base the chayvus shekabur lemizman and regular chayvus kurzman like korban tamid in the moyad. That's what it says. Okay, so maybe one thing just to emphasize, and just actually said a shul machshava about it today. The Gilgal, there was a mizbech. There was a mizbech in the Gilgal. What's the Gilgal? You go into Eretz Yisrael, so in the Midbar they have a Mishkan. You go into Eretz Yisrael, and there are 14 years, you have a Gilgal. What do you have in the Gilgal? You have a Mizbech. Where's the Oren? Very good. So the Meiri, and it's really a Yushalmi, says there was the Oren, but the Oren was always traveling because they went to war. So it wasn't Kavu over there. It was there only in Akabah.
Like which Aron they took, it wasn't an Aron that they
not in the Gilgal. That was only in the Midbar. So it says in the Meiri, basically Yushalmi, what makes the Mishkan into a Mishkan, full-fledged Mishkan is the Aron. Here the Aron wasn't Kavua. So that's why it's not a full-fledged Mishkan. That's the Gilgal. So now we have over here a few sheetahs, how exactly it was affected. The first one that we hold in the Gilgal, your Makriv, the Tzibur is Makriv. Tzibur, whatever Tzibur does. Pa'al Dovish Tzibur, Pa'al Krem Mashiach, they do it. And of course, everything is Kavua Zman. But the shaila is, what about an individual who has a korban chayva? Could be chatas asher. So the first two mandalmar and the fourth mandalmar says no. Yachid cannot bring anything. Rabbi says no. If you go to the Gilgal, it's like a Mishkan. You can do whatever you want. You can bring everything. Now there's another shita of Reb Shimon that says that even the tzibur were not makriv things that are not kavulim zman, like the karbanos of the Moyadim and Tommy. But prior to the tzibur, they're not makriv. Nothing more. He's going to go through it. So the Gemara. My time in the Rameir. This we saw before. Said, don't do what we're doing today. What does it mean? When you go there to Israel, because it says, that's the Apostle. So you makiv Yosher. Yosher means what? Donations. Whatever I want. Now, Menachas and Nazirus, Yashus Nino. Rameir says, Menachas also you can donate. In Nazirus, how does one become a Nazir? How do you become a Nazir? Voluntarily. So it's not a chayva. Yes, once you became a Nazir, now you have to be a korban, but you became on your own. So it's also called the Yashus. Disagree with the mincha. That has to do with Rasha, the one that we'll see Be'ez Hashem in the daf of Sunday. Nazirus chayvas ninu. Nazir is a korban chayva. Why? Yes, it came voluntarily, but now that it became voluntarily, once he became a Nazir, now he's obligated to be a korban. So the shaila is how do you treat the Nazir? As a chayva or as a donation? So the Gemara Amar Shmuel, now by Nazir, just to explain the next few lines of the Gemara, is by Nazir you have 4 korbanos. You have that depends on the stage of the korban. Let's see the way the Gemara addresses it right now. Just to keep it simple. You have chatos and asham. You have oil and shlomim. Now, the chatos and asham is we saw it earlier. We saw before. Oil and shlomim is a little bit more flexible because you can give it as a donation. Chatos and asham comes because it's like a regular chatos and asham. Says the Gemara, Shmuel machlekes bechatos v'asham. The machlekes is a nazir considered to be a donation. It got to be chatos v'asham because chatos v'asham is never a donation. So here you have machlekes. Here it starts with a donation, but the mice it's not a donation. That you always giving us a donation. Everybody agrees it's considered to be a donation, and you can bring it. The card, you can bring it. When you see Rabbo Chazev Shoik, the Truma, the Chazev Shoik that comes from the Karbanis. The Truma, if it comes from where? From the Shlamim. Chazev Shoik comes from the Shlamim. The Truma Slachmi Toido you have to bring bread. And for each bread, you have to give a piece to the kohen. No, I give you then you do have a bomok, which means the tzibur. They know I give you bomok tano, but they're not knowing bomok tano. So this goes like Madonna the old, the chayvos that there's a difference between bomok dol and bomok tano, or with tzibur or not. And I'm saying the matanos to the kohen only bomok dol. Why? Because in bomok tano, who is the one who's working in Bomok Tana? In your own private Bomok, who does it? A Yisrael, not a Kohen. But in Bomok Doyle has to be a Kohen. So the matana for the Kohen is only Bomok Doyle. Simple. And that's a simple sentence. Says the Gemara, 1 second. There's another thing that happens in Shlomim. Which Shlomim? In the Shlomim of a Nazir. There's something he has to give to the Kohen, which is called the Zroya B'Sheila Min Ha'ayil. It's the pulke. You have to give the thigh to the kohen. Why don't you mention that? In other words, he said when you have bomok doila, you don't give chazav v'shoik. And bomok doila, you give the kohen his matanos. Now in bomok tan, what are we talking about? Talking about chazav v'shoik. Talk about lachmi toida. What about the zrah b'sheila min ayil? Elamai, you see, a nazir can never bring it because it's a chayva. So you see that we're treating the shlomim of a nazir as a chayv. Says the Gemara, that there is a mandama that holds that the shlomim of a nazir is a chayv. Haman your body. Very good. That's your body. But by shlomim, everybody agrees it's not a chayv. Hamani. This brisa that says that I don't bring a shlomim of a nazir is according to who? Hello, Eid Machid. You're right. So you see from this that Nazir Shlomim, there's a mandama that holds you can bring in a bomok tano because it's not considered to be a donation. So what's the machlekes? Here, one of them says is a donation like any other donation, like any time you give oil l'shlamim. The other one says, yeah, once he accepted the nazir, now the oil l'shlamim is not a donation anymore. Everybody agrees not correct. So okay, so the Gemara right now came to the conclusion. We came to explain the machlekes. The first machlekes, which we called before like the sidebar machlekes, is a nazir considered to be chayv or not? But this commandomer holds, these two commandomer hold that a bama ktana you bring only yashus, and we'll see also bama gdoila you can't bring chayv. Says the Gemara, Omar Mar. I mean, really, we saw it right now as well, because we said that you don't bring in the bama gdoila. We're talking about what you give to the kohen. We're not bringing those. Says the Gemara, and the last chachamim, right? The fourth shita, the brights that we had, remaining chachamim. Then it came Rabbi Yehuda, make it chachamim. The second chachamim was saying exactly the first chachamim. Says the Gemara, my time the about is there about my koi share shabein of yase ish yashu to the ikru chayvus to the ikru by ish koi shabein the vessel. So any ish, which means an individual, brings what? Only yashu, not chayva ever. Meaning there doesn't be chayva not a bama gdoila, not a bama ktana. If it's tzibur, if the chayva is the ikru, but it's tzibur is not kiv chayva. That's Rabban. So what kiv chesed with aleph. It says, in other words, on the Beino. Beino means in your eyes. Your mizbeach that you did it with your own eyes, that you looked at it and did it. Shayla funav, in front of your eyes. It's not in a specific location. Wherever your eyes set, wherever you set your eyes, you have the bone. That's what he says. Ish kol hayoshor beinov. In beinov, wherever you see, that is kol hayoshor. When it's a bama gdoilo, bama tzibur. Fil chayvis damelikuf. Then you have to back of you with chayvis. Says the Gemara l'chtiv ish. Says ish. Lav lemeru the ish yashus l'likuf v'chayvis l'likuf. Why it says ish? Ish means individual. So basically, what you hold that it's a yochid can't bring korban chayva. So you're telling me don't bring it. But if you hold it, you could bring right to the ish. It says, ish to tell you that the one who was working in the bama is not a kohen, it's a zar. Zar b'vizor k'kohen es adam mizbeach Hashem nafko. It says that the kohen works only in mizbeach Hashem, not in the bama ktano. How the taivo libaye kiddush b'choyus k'demi karo kamash v'lan. Oh, you know what I would think? I would think. Who worked in the Bama before the Hamikdash? Kohen for the Mishkan. So now in the Mishkan or in the Makot Tzibur is a Kohen. If you could do a Bama, maybe you go back to the original state and it would be a Kohen. That's what it says. Ish kol yashabayno, any ish could do it. Okay, but that's the ish. But in Chanav according to Rabbi Yehuda, individual could bring a chayva in a Bama Gedolah. Says the one chachamim, I tell the comment. So it's like it's a chachamim, the fourth shita, or exactly the first two. Says the Gemara, Papa korvu nesochin b'midbar ikabenai. It's a machlekes we saw earlier. When you brought the karbonis in the midbar, did you bring with it nesochin or not? As we saw earlier, it's a machlekes we saw every kiva. And that machlekes came with it the discussion if you have nesochin b'mam ktan. Because the Torah says that when you go into Eretz Yisrael, then you'll be Nesachim. So Shaila is, what happened till now? So Rishmael says, till now there was no Nesachim. Only when they were in Eretz Yisrael, there was Nesachim. We're in the Bama Gdoila. Bama Ktana, there was never Nesachim. Never ever. Rabbi Akiva learns, there was Nesachim in the Midbar. So why I'm telling you, when you go into Eretz Yisrael, there's Nesachim. There's Nesachim, Bama Ktana. So, it's a machlekes. Was the nesachim midbar or not? So the Gemara now says there's two chachamim. One chachamim says that you did chayvis in. Both chachamim say that an individual. What? Yeah, but the chayvis hayachid you can't do anywhere. Can't do chayvis hayachid. So according to the Bible, should bring each other. Yes, because there's one machlekes between them. Machlekes is there Nesachim or not. Let's see quickly just a little bit of the Rashi where this will end. Rashi brings Korban Nesolim Midbar Yikebenayu. Le'abon Kamoyu le'Korban Nesolim Midbar. There's no Nesachim. Oil Shlomi great, the Nesolim Kagam Karvi Bomo, the Midbar Karvi. He says the Chiddush is you can bring in a Bomo the actual animals. The Chitov Paj Nesachim Latir Nesachim b'Mishkat Shiloi Pasul Achai Yeshiva. So it's no Nesachim and it continues to be no Nesachim. When Masrai Litfuy also, the second one could add. Not Mishneh Seir Kol Shetziu Makrim Boyel Moed. Shemid Makrim Bagilgo. Lama the Midno. Are you tell me? Have you denied Mitziu Kavasai Kol? That's exactly what you said. Taki by Lamima. Kan Nekan Look Karvi Leyochid Eloil Vishlomim. That sentence is unnecessary. At the Fuya Bon Kamoya, so the coming to add the first one on Piami Kol Shetziu Tzuchim Lakim Makrim Boyel Moed Shemid Bar. Makrim Boyel Moed Shemigilgo. We're adding everything they need. There was the Sachim. Both bombs have the Sachim. Man, the East used to the Korban was Yachid the Gilgul. Also Latin the Sachim Bomaktano, the Gdil for Ukrainian. So that's the Joshua. So immediately we learned over here the first four shitas in the Mishnah in this Brisa. The first, second, and fourth are pretty close to each other. They all say that individuals don't bring chayva, not in the korban yachid, not in the bavas yachid, and not in the bavas sibur. Not bavas k'tan, not bavas g'doy. Not in your backyard, and not in the gilgul. They don't bring chayvas. They bring only donations. Now, where is the differences? Remains the one who says that Nazir and Mincha or brought, it's considered to be a donation. The first Chachamim say no, and then the second Chachamim say that another discussion is regarding the Sachim. Like a side discussion, does the Sachim come in the Bama G'dayla? That's Shita number 1, 2, and 4. Shita number 3 is the Shita of Rabbi Yehuda that says that Chayvos obligations do come in the Bama G'dayla. They don't come in the Bama G'dayla. Bama G'dayla you treat it as regular. Then we have the Shita of Shimon that says even chayvas of a tzibur don't come fully, and that will learn Hashem on the Daf of Shabbos starts at 8 a.m. on and right over here.
So Cowboys take it away with barbecue.